A 2026 bride, and here are a few things that I'm really struggling with.
Hi, I'm Gwendolyn, and I help engaged couples navigate the craziness of planning their wedding. And I try to do this by saving them a little bit of time, hopefully some money, and more importantly, their sanity. Today, we're checking out a bride who has some challenges with her guest count. This is very common. A lot of couples struggle with this part of the planning, and this is at the very beginning of the planning phase. So I totally can understand that. But let's listen and see what she's talking about.
That I'm really struggling with. Coming from an Asian background, there's always this level of expectation of who to invite, who to involve, and exactly what you'll be doing on your wedding day. I'm somebody who has always gone against the norm, and especially in an Asian household, this isn't necessarily something that's always respected. Personally, I believe that you should only invite people to your wedding that you really.
Okay, let's take a pause. She mentioned that in Asian culture, it's expected that they invite everybody and follow the norms. However, she personally is always known for going against the grain. And I think that's pretty awesome. I think it takes a lot of courage, confidence to, not follow the status quo and kind of chart your own pathway. I think that's amazing. That's pretty awesome. And I hope she and her partner can reflect that in their wedding. And it sounds like maybe they will. I'm excited to hear what else she has to say so we can find out. But going back to the expectations of who to invite, I don't think that's solely an Asian cultural thing. I think that applies to a lot of other cultures as well. When people get engaged, it seems like everyone from family members, friends you haven't spoken to in a while, co-workers, friends, all kinds, church members, if you go to church, they expect an invitation to your wedding. So I don't think it's specifically just for Asian culture. Now, maybe they lean in on it a little bit more than other cultures do, but I think that's pretty standard that a lot of people do expect to get an invitation to your wedding. All right, let's see what else she's talking about.
Really want to see on your wedding day, especially because it's such a big day for you and your partner. However, the normal in an Asian household is to invite absolutely everyone you know or don't know to your wedding day. So, a normal wedding, especially back in the day, would consist of around 300 to 500 people, potentially even more. However, myself and Josh have decided to go for a smaller venue that we absolutely.
Did she just say 300 to 500 people? Girl, you're not even having a wedding anymore. At that point, you're having a convention, a trade show, an expo. That's a lot of people. Do I even know 300 to 500? Yeah, yeah, I do. I have like 5 different sets of family, so I could probably easily get to that number, if not more. But that's a lot of work. There's a lot of plates, it's a lot of chairs, a lot of decorations, and a lot of dollars. That's a lot. 300 to 500 people. That I can't even imagine what kind of space would you need, like a convention center. What type of venue could hold that many people? Will you have like a main room and then like an overflow room? Like the logistics of this is just making me sweat a little bit. I'm just wow. So hopefully they're going in a slightly different direction, but if not, it's not impossible. I have helped many brides plan large weddings. It is doable. However, it is challenging. It brings on its own set of challenges. So that's amazing. Those of you who are having huge weddings with 300 to 500 people, kudos to you. And those who are not, kudos to you too. It's whatever suits what you and your partner are expecting for your special day. Let's finish listening to her challenge.
Fell in love with that only allows a maximum of 150 guests. As you can imagine, this is already something that goes out of that whole norm and expectation of what you should be doing, especially as an Asian bride. But I'll be honest, it already makes me feel so much calmer and better knowing that there's going to be fewer people at our wedding. If you're a bride or groom getting married in 2025 or 2026, I really want to know how you sort of.
I think this couple, I think they're super smart. They found a venue for only, the max capacity was only 150 people. Now they can literally use the venue as their reason for not inviting 300 people to their wedding. There's a max capacity of 150 people. I love that. They reeled it in. True, to some couples, 150 people may still be a large party. I mean, that's, you're in the three digits now. You're not 300 or you're not 500, but 150 is still a pretty decent head count. You know, that's still quite a bit of time and money put towards putting together a wedding for that many people. However, having the max capacity at the venue is the perfect excuse to anyone who's asking about why they weren't invited or didn't get a +1. I think that's perfect. I love it. I would tell this couple to get in lockstep with each other. Make sure that the guest list they agree upon is, set those boundaries and stick to them. When people come to you because they did not receive an invitation and they were expecting to, you guys already have your set parameters and have your boundary scripts together, and you know what you're going to say. I think this is a fantastic plan. You can go to your parents and say, hey, parents, you get, you know, whatever small handful of guests each, and that's it. And you can blame it on the venue because the numbers are what they are. You cannot go outside of the capacity of the venue. It's legally, it's not allowed. So I think this couple did a really smart deal. They found a venue that they loved and with a capacity that they felt comfortable with.
Out your guest list and how you came to the conclusion of who's invited and who's not. My personal opinion, if it were up to me completely, would be to only invite the people that congratulated myself and Josh and sent a message when we actually did get engaged. Everyone else, I believe, didn't really care, nor did it matter to them. I really wish it was that easy and that simple, but being an Asian bride genuinely is and can be super stressful and overwhelming. So if you're a bride-to-be or have been a bride, I really want to know, how do you deal with this pressure and expectation that's been placed on you, especially if you come from an Asian household and background? Hey, I'm Nia.
This is exactly what I mentioned before. She and her partner, they were in lockstep with how they wanted to guide their guest list. And they started with those people, she said, who reached out to them after they were engaged and congratulated them. I think that's a fine starting point. That's like ground zero. If you didn't do that, then off top, you're over in the overflow section over here. You didn't make the cut. People who are happy for you genuinely do reach out and tell you congratulations. So I think that's a great ground level starting point. And from there, like I mentioned, you can extend invitations to your parent groups. You may have coworkers, additional friends, or maybe some extended family you want to add in from there. But I love that they wanted to invite people who were truly happy for them to be part of their special day, because the guest list can get crazy. And we won't even talk about the +1s. My goodness, there's so much conversation right now around etiquette and +1s. People feel because they are invited to a wedding, they automatically get a +1. That's not always the case. So that's another piece of advice I would give to this couple, is make sure as a couple you identify who will receive a +1 extension and who will not. Make that very clear from the beginning, from your save the date through your invitation, so that there is no confusion. And you can maintain your head count and keep it within the parameters and the guidelines of your venue of 150 people capacity. Perfect. In addition to that, prepare yourselves with those scripts to have those tough conversations, because I promise that distant cousin, that random coworker, that friend you hadn't talked to in a long time, they're all going to come and ask, hey, where's my invitation? And if you guys are together in what you're going to say and how you're going to move forward with this, then it should be seamless and everyone should respect your decisions for your special day. I mean, it's your day and you're free to invite whoever you want And those that you don't, you're free to not invite them. Great job, couple. Well done. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. And if there are any topics or challenges that you'd like me to discuss or take a look at, please leave them in the comments. I'm happy to have that discussion as well. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.